Hey yo, welcome back to the channel and thank you for checking out another video. You probably saw the Toyota a week or two ago announced a whole line of electric vehicles, a lot of different images, a lot of different concepts, maybe some concept cars in there, but some of the renderings look like they're far enough along that could be the real deal. And obviously one of those is something that very much could be a Toyota Tacoma in an electric vehicle. So it got me thinking about what is the future of the Tacoma, and not even just thinking way out in the future, what are some things that Toyota could be doing to update the Tacoma right now that don't need the 4th gen, just some of those minor updates that they could be, or at least should be making, in my opinion. That's the video for today. Let's jump in and check it out. Let's go. So Toyota has announced an entire line of electric vehicles. At least that's in the future. You've got to think that the Tacoma's got some things that are coming that are in store for it. Before getting all the way to electric, I would think that they're going to have some kind of a hybrid version. I mean, first of all, you've got the new Tundra and it's got a V6 turbo instead of a V8. Maybe that means that the next step on the Tacoma on the 4th gen is going to be a 4-cylinder turbo. There's a lot of talk about that, but probably, in my opinion, you're going to see a hybrid even before you see an electric vehicle. Now, maybe not. Maybe Toyota's going to jump straight into the electric vehicle, but would you go for a hybrid Tacoma? I think the hybrid has some appeal to it in the sense that, unlike an electric vehicle that's going to be really, really limited based on how far you're going in charging stations, a hybrid is going to give you a little bit more of that fuel economy that people are looking for even in a truck, but it's going to give you the ability to be on gas if you need to go for a long haul or for, go a long way. So, hybrid is something that I'd be interested in. Again, it's going to depend on what does it look like. Does it have that reliability that Toyota is known for? But I'm still thinking that's probably at least a generation out, which, could be 2 or 3 years before we see a 4th gen Tacoma. But what could they do in the 3rd gen Tacoma right now? Because I've got some things that I wish that my Tacoma had on it. They're not big upgrades as far as like overhauls go, but there's some little things that Tacoma could do, or that Toyota could do, to make the Tacoma just a little bit nicer. If you look at the 2020 Tacoma and the 2021, which is what I have, 2020 was the year that they put in the automatic driver's side seat. Obviously a huge improvement from the bar in the front and that manual seat, probably long overdue. But if you look at it, then that was in 2020. 2021, really the only difference at that point in the 2021 model was that the dual climate control became standard. So it was no longer an option or an upgrade, became standard. Kind of a nice to have. I think I mentioned this in videos before. Probably 7 out of 10 times I'm driving by myself, so maybe it doesn't make that big of a difference. Maybe in the winter right now where I might be driving my wife, she likes it where it's really, really warm. I like it a little bit cooler, so we're able to kind of have that difference on the two sides, but it's not a very big cab, so not a very big deal. But the 2022s, from what I've been looking at, I'm not seeing really anything that's been added to them. Got me really wondering what's on that 2022. What little minor improvements have they done? And I've got some suggestions of things that I'd like to see Toyota do on the Tacoma that does not need a 4th gen, that could be those minor updates that they do along the way. And I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about 4 of them that I think they could do pretty easily. Let's jump into those. Okay, so the first one is in 2020, they added the automatic seat on the driver's side. Go ahead and add that as standard on the passenger side as well. It's just a little bit nicer. It makes it a little bit easier for people when they're riding with you, especially when you've got people in the back. If you're hauling 4 people, just to have that front seat that's a little bit easier to move up and down on the passenger side and not just the driver's side, I think that's kind of a no-brainer. Pretty simple overall. They've already got the components for it, using the same thing that's on the driver's seat on the other side. but it's something that Tacoma really, I was thinking that they would do on the 2022. I haven't heard that that's the case. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. All right, several of these are for the interior of the Tacoma, and the second upgrade or feature that I think that they should have is in the back. There's two things that they could do. Number one, get rid of that middle cup holder. There's not a lot of value there. If someone's sitting there, their knees are going to be right up in that cup holder. I mean, it really doesn't fit that third person in the back very easily. They just need to get rid of that cup holder altogether. It's going to make the back have a little bit more room if you've got to have somebody sitting in the middle. I don't have that happen a ton, but every once in a while I'll have, several of my kids with me, or, hauling a bunch of buddies out to lunch. You may have to shove somebody in the back. That little bit of a difference would make all the difference in the world for the person sitting there. And then once you take it out, then it's connected to the rest of the center console. At that point, throw some USB ports on that back piece of the console so that the back seat has easier access to power. People are always with their phones, batteries are always running low. Having power in your car is huge for people. So remove the cup holder, throw a couple USB ports in the back, and make it a lot easier for people that are riding in the back of the Tacoma. And speaking of people riding in the back of the Tacoma, if you do have people there and if you remove those cup holders, then it's like, well, now you've got no cup holders in the back. I mean, the doors do have the bottle kind of holders there. You can't really put like an open drink or a drink with a straw, something in a bottle, obviously. There's a ton of storage like that on the Tacoma. But the other thing is, when you've only got two people in the back, I'd really like to see that middle of the bench be able to fold down. Have an armrest, couple cup holders in there, just make it a little bit more comfortable for people that are riding in the back of the Tacoma. Hey, before I jump into the last upgrade that I think Toyota needs to do, I appreciate everybody's support of the channel. We're creeping up on 500 subscribers. Very excited about that. I've got a giveaway that I'm going to be doing once we hit 500 subscribers. So go ahead, hit like on this video. It helps the algorithm a ton. Hit subscribe. Let's get this channel over 500 subscribers. And again, I appreciate everybody's support, checking out the videos, liking, subscribing, commenting. You guys are awesome. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for you helping out this channel and supporting it so much. Thank you so much. All right, so I talked about the automatic seat on the passenger side, removing the cup holders in that center console for the back, putting a couple USB ports there so people can charge, and then in the back bench, putting in that cutout that can fold down. Super common in a lot of cars, a lot of vehicles. But if you've only got two people in the back, it's definitely going to be more comfortable having an armrest. And then you got the cup holders right in that drop down. If you've got three people, yeah, you're not going to have as much room for something like cups, but you've got a little bit more knee room for the person in the middle. The last thing that I really wish that they would add, and that has to do with the technology package. So I've talked about this in other videos. Maybe I can link to the video where I talk about that upgrade that I did purchase or I have added to my Tacoma. The biggest reason that I like it is it means you've got the color matched bumper on the back because of the technology package that adds that parking sonar, radar, whatever that thing is. I've talked about it before, but because of the rear camera, I'm not sure that the back sensors are as big of a deal, but they are nice to have. What I would really like to see though is sensors on the front of the Tacoma, in the front, so that when you are parking and you're making a sharp turn, that you've got that radar that tells you your distance in the front. I feel like in the back it's a lot easier, but the front is definitely lacking in the Tacoma. And the reason I know this is I used to have this on my 2018 Nissan Maxima. It had a very similar technology package to the Tacoma, but the front actually had two sensors as well as the back having two sensors. And honestly, the two sensors in the front, those were far more valuable to me anytime than the sensors were in the back. Is there anything that you would like to see in the Tacoma? Maybe a feature or an upgrade that you've had in other vehicles, maybe something the Tundra has that hasn't been brought to the Tacoma. Let me know in the comments. Let everybody else know what's something that you think would really help improve the Tacoma that could be this kind of minor update, right? Without a big overhaul, without a new generation. Go ahead and let me know. I'm curious to see what you think. Like I said, none of these are, big, huge updates or features that need to come out on the Tacoma. They're all fairly minor things. Now, you could say that adding sensors onto the front, now you're talking about more electrical components and what's that going to look like, all that kind of stuff. But the reality is they're already using the same technology in the back. It's just adding it to the front. Now, maybe the 22 has it. I haven't seen a 2022. I've been reading up on them. I've seen pictures, obviously. It's still the 3rd gen, so not a ton different there. But do you see something on the 2022 that is an upgrade from the 21s or the 20s? I haven't seen it. If you have, again, let me know. If you got the technology package, have they added those sensors in the front? Maybe the 360 camera has those sensors. I don't know. Overall, I think those are pretty easy things that Toyota could do that would make a big difference on the Tacoma without waiting until a 4th gen, without waiting until a hybrid or an electric vehicle version of the Tacoma, but would help them continue to kind of upgrade and in a lot of ways just keep up with some of the other mid-sized trucks that are out there. All right, thanks for checking out this video. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, like, subscribe, have a great holiday, and we'll catch you in the next video. All right, peace out.